How do you consolidate generalized versus specificity training? Like, what's the relationship?
Generalized, okay, specificity of training. There's a specific technique that gives us a distinctly definable outcome. I do exactly this, and it gives me exactly that. Okay, if it's non-specified or it's broader, it's principle-based. These principles, generally speaking, will give me these results. And they won't give me a specific result. They'll give me a lane, an area, okay? I do something to maintain control of my element. Okay, that's kind of a generic principle, and it gives me, as long as I get control, the techniques will vary. If I give you a specific way to issue commands and authentications to gain control or maintain control, those will be very specific. So that's the difference between them.
And how do you balance them within the framework of a 4-hour course like this?
It's hard. It's difficult because it's not a lot of time. I can expose everyone to those concepts and ideas, but they're not going to have the time to reinforce them here.
Between compartmentalization and integrative training, is that something that you explore in an environment like this as well?
This is too short to do anything that's more in depth than what we're doing right now, which is to expose them to concepts and principles and a framework of understanding for their own training.
So what's the best that you can hope for that your students learn within this framework?
They understand how important time is and how to quantify it in the conduct of any tactical response to an event, and they have a logical framework to evaluate any future training. If someone comes to you, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how it works with specificity, the mechanism of success, most likely failure points or mistakes, and then craft training to mitigate that. They have to have a template to work off of so that they don't miss anything that can become damaging to them or their element.
All right, guys, my name is Gian, and far be it from me to interject on Mr. Mike Panonne. I just think that what he said is incredibly important, and it is worth repeating that the mechanism for success are mistakes and failures, and that we ought to develop a framework of training to mitigate mistakes and failures downstream. That works for absolutely any scope of learning, particularly important if we're talking about things like combat sport or defensive tactics, things like that. So sorry to interject. I'm just gonna play that back one more time so that it gets hammered into our minds. All right, back to Mr. Mike Panonne.
The mechanism of success, most likely failure points or mistakes, and then craft training to mitigate that. They have to have a template to work off of so that they don't miss anything that can become damaging to them or their element.
And what happens to the knowledge you're about to dish out if they don't follow up?
It's on them. There's nothing I can do, man. I know it works because I'm not dead and haven't been killed, not even once. So I know it works. If you don't listen to people that can explain things to you in a logical pattern that have vetted experience, there's nothing anyone can do for you. Then you're the smartest guy, the smartest girl in the room, and you figure it out. I would rather learn from someone else that I know has done these things and learn from them, and learn from others who have done and learned them. We've got experience 1, 2, 3 tiers deep. If you don't take advantage of that, then you're just foolish. That's why we have people that have experience that instruct. That's why we have Craig Douglas over there doing vehicle stuff, okay? And me over here doing vehicle stuff in a different capacity. He's doing close and internal fighting. I'm doing external fighting. But we both have real world experience doing it. It's important. It's important because it's vetted.